I have the other ones available in there. But...
What? So, Luke, what are you drinking today?
Coca-Cola. Morning on the way to the gym and set my ukulele on top of the car and then drove off down the road.
That's going to be the bow after that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Ojo! I learned my lesson from last time. What a welcome. Thank you. I drink the most fruity drinks imaginable.
It's laundry day.
It's laundry day.
So you always wear hats with laundry day?
I'm going to do you a favor, James. I just say later.
So how did you two meet?
Well, there's these places in San Francisco. I think they're called bathhouses.
It's like one of those things where everyone wants to focus on like the big events that happen, but day to day, what we're doing is we're on like one of our drawstrings smoking weed, making comics. It's chill. It's so much fun, and like
yes. Man, I'm not a YouTuber. I do this because I want to sell comic books. Yes, guys, it is Sunday. This means another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their hopes and their dreams and their lives, but also their books and their campaigns. Because frankly, I'm kind of bored with mainstream comics. They kind of suck. And indie is where the passion is. So yeah, I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend and a nice Sunday. This Sunday for me has been a bit slow. It's warm, it's warm. So I went to the city center, just hang out. I read some comics, so some indie books, and I decided, guys, that so every week I made the promise to myself that I will read 3 indie books. But what I will no longer do is let people know which books that I read, because I learned that then people actually want to know my opinion, and sometimes I just don't want to say, because you have to be honest. You have to be honest. But I promise you that if I love a comic, I will talk about it. So I will share it on my social media. So if something is good, like I think it is quality, it has everything you want in a comic book, I will share it, right? Okay. And beyond that, I don't have much to say. Besides, I think that I can show you guys the cover for The Perfect 10 trade paperback next week. So we're working on the trade. It's a lot of work. It's not just collect everything you have, throw it together. We want to make it special, right? So and the cover is fantastic. So Pau did the line work. Daniel is coloring it right now, and hopefully during next week I can show you guys. All right, let's see who's with us in the chat today. The Madness Entertainment Group. Here we go. He says, welcome, Pops. Welcome. And then Tank is here. Hail to all of you magnificent people. Welcome, Tank Ferret, sir. By the way, people can subscribe to your YouTube channel, right? You have you do live drawings, right? There's a lot that I miss, guys. It's like time zones and stuff. So, but yeah. Mike, welcome, Mike. Greetings, a great day and a great drink with Brink, to you, Dave. Drinking cola. Also, remember the ticker. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Mike. Yeah, the ticker is ready. I will, like, when the guest is here, I will put the ticker on. Thanks for the reminder. And Mike, your package will be shipped out Monday, Tuesday. I will keep you posted, sir. Let me see. Then we have. Oh, Mike says that new team of villains for Safeguard is brilliant, Dave. 7 villains for 7 years. Yes, this is crazy. It took a long time to put these villains together. My favorite thing of creating comics is creating these characters and getting the characters right, then putting the teams together, and every character has to work together with the other characters, so you have a good dynamic going on. So I like to think of original superpowers. It's really, really cool. I'm so proud of this, and we still have a lot of work to do on that book, but the result will be worth the wait, guys. All right. It's time for the guest, guys. So, by the way, share out the link to the stream. Let's bring in some more people. The merrier. Oh, there we go. Fast cars, hot babes, and huge piles of money. I draw it all poorly. Not poorly. You're a good artist, Tank. So that's the link, guys. Go find it. I really like that unexpected hellish theme. Yes, that's like what would hellish supervillains look like? Anyway, this is not about my book. It's time for the guest because he has a wonderful campaign, a very original. So he makes very original books, and it's time to talk about it, to check it out. So let's see if I have everything right. I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I have a very warm welcome for Mr. Raiden Radio.
Hello.
Yes.
Good to talk to you, Dave. How you been?
There he is. Yeah, I'm good. Sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How's the weekend treating you so far?
Yeah, it's pretty warm and a bit lazy.
Yeah, my drink on this one is not going to be exciting because it's been in either the 90s or the 100s down here, and so I notice when I desperately need to drink more water, and so my drink is just boring.
No, water is good, man.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Yeah, water is good. You know, we're just like spoiled with all these tastes and flavors and
yeah.
But basically, water is always good.
Yeah, and apparently it doesn't count if you run it through coffee. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, I drink tons of water. Like, that doesn't count.
Yeah. Or tea is just water with some herbs in it, right?
Yeah, but I think they actually dehydrate you. So that's why it doesn't count.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, we're off to a great start. We're talking about water.
Yeah. Why not?
Thrilling.
Why not? Sim, welcome, Sim. Ink Slayer. Sim also has a YouTube channel where he does art. So go find it, guys. Go subscribe. Mike says, welcome, Raiden, Lightning Lord. There you go. Like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. Tank Fair says, dihydrogen monoxide is the best chemical compound. Is that true?
Well, that's water. It was an old joke about how they were asking people on the street to sign a petition to ban the use of dihydrogen monoxide, and they were able to find people that opposed water.
That's excellent. Yeah, that's like this. I saw this street interview a few years ago where some interviewer was asking random people what they thought about Homo sapiens. you know, and some ridiculous answers, like really crazy. Anyway, Raiden Radio. So you've been on the show a few years back, and what I remember is that you had a very original approach to making comic books. The way you wrote them. So you are a comic book creator, and it's good to see that you're still around. You never know nowadays. Some people just they make a book and they're gone.
Yeah, they make a book and they don't get exactly what they were looking for, and so they kind of dip out with a lot of stories unfinished. Let's talk about them charitably, though.
Exactly. So what's your history with comics? Let's start there. So how did you get into making comics?
So the tale goes, I went to college to just learn about storytelling in general, and I didn't really have a set goal, but while I was in college, I kind of discovered, or I guess rediscovered, comics, and I found that my style of writing just kind of flowed into it really well. Because as a writer, I'm not very wordy. You know what I mean? I'm generally looking for, when I'm writing, I'm trying to find the most efficient way to say what needs to be said, which is kind of perfect for comics, because comics are the writing is almost like secondary. You know, sometimes it needs to take a step back away so it doesn't step on the art. And so I just found that like writing and producing comics just kind of fit the mold of like everything I was looking for, and being able to tell a story, you know, tell a story my way. And so I started making comics, and I haven't really stopped, because I just enjoy, you know, the form, the medium, and everything that goes into it. And so I just, you know, I make weird comic books.
Right. So what do you mean when you say that writing needs to take a step back sometimes in favor?
Yeah, so I find that when I'm writing a comic, I'm generally writing like a full-on script and direction for the artist to follow. And then it goes through the editing process. But then once I start working with an artist and I'm seeing what's coming out of that, that kind of working relationship, what I'm noticing is that the editing needs to basically start all over again, because I don't want my words to step on their art. And the art is oftentimes saying the things that don't need to be resaid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a process of basically creating a story and then refitting it for how the art is telling the story, and making sure that they're working, you know, in tandem with one another, and not, you know, stepping on each other.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't, like, you can still tell the story you want to tell, but a lot of it is just visual, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. Wait, let me see if I missed anything. Oh, Cosmonaut Comics, welcome. Welcome. Guys, subscribe to Cosmonaut Comics YouTube channel for daily comic book reviews. So what makes your comics so weird? You said you make weird comics.
Yes. So the
tell you this?
No, I know I'm a pretty weird guy. I am that aware, but so the first series, I'm basically, my goal is to make something that is that has never existed before. That's always my goal, is just make something that didn't exist before I started making it. And I'm not saying I do that, but that's kind of like the goal, is to try and make something that is brand new in as many respects as possible. So I started, you know, Eudaimonia, the series here. It's basically, I don't think you're going to find another comic book like it. But it's basically a kind of surreal philosophical epic that is written in basically the same form as like something like Beowulf, right? Where you have what are basically like, it's basically verse. It's written in verse. So I don't think there's anything out there like that. And then on top of that, just when people go to read the name, they're completely lost. Like they have no idea how to pronounce it. And my next series, it's not as weird and abstract. It was called Noirlem. But again, that's a word that doesn't actually exist. It's just a portmanteau of noir and Harlem. But I noticed that I just noticed that there's a lot of mysteries and there's a lot of 1920s, but I don't see a lot of it taking place in Harlem. So I wanted to which has its own kind of aesthetic and movement. So I tried to make something that didn't exist before, but it's still like a little bit familiar in some ways.
Sure. But if your goal is to make something that's like unique, right?
Right.
So it still has to fit in some sort of like storytelling genre.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
right.
Yeah, I guess the saying is like nothing is actually original; it's all been done.
No, but what I mean, if you make something, you have to like the process. You have to like the product, the book, right? Yeah. So how do you make something that's so unique, but you still like it? You can make something really crazy, for crazy's sake, but not to the point that you just that you don't enjoy making it.
I think that part of what makes what I'm making a little bit more unique is that like we're making comics, and comics are very much in conversation with all that came before it. So when people are talking about a comic book, they're usually referring to something else, right? So, you'll see somebody who has basically said like, I was a big fan of like G.I. Joe or, X-Men or whatever it is. Whereas like my points of reference are kind of all over the place. So they're both coming from in comics. They come from music. Eudaimonia was very much inspired by a video game called Valiant Hearts. So I think that if your inspirations are pulling from a lot of different places, that kind of enables you to at least be a little bit more successful in making something that's completely fresh and new. Like, does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Darius Artist, welcome, sir. He asked, were psychedelics involved?
No, I'm one of those. I'm not purposely straight edge. I've never been a big fan of, or I guess I've become not such a big fan of taking things that make me feel like I'm not in control of me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like when you drink, that alcohol becomes a kind of co-pilot for your brain, and I'm just not a big fan of that.
Yeah,
but when you tell people like, yeah, I don't drink, they'll be like, oh my gosh, what happened? Are you okay? Like, no, I just don't. Like, it's just not for me.
I have the same. I don't drink because of that reason. I don't want to lose control,
Yeah.
So by the way, guys, Darius Artist is a fantastic artist. So he does like painterly style covers. So if you need something done, reach out to him. David Feed, welcome, David Feed. All right, great. So how do you get your ideas, besides like you want to create something unique, but still has to be something that means something to you, right? So how do you create these ideas, these concepts?
I would say I read a fair bit, and if something kind of grabs hold of me and kind of moves the spirit in a way, I kind of treat those things like somebody across space and time has sent me a letter and I need to write back. So if I read like, I'll read, poetry from World War I, right? That's a good example for Eudaimonia. And there were these soldiers who went over there and they saw things that were so horrific. Nobody had ever seen them before. And so when they went to write and kind of express what they went through, it's not unlike anything you can read anywhere else. And so I would read things like that, and then I would kind of like go down the rabbit hole, and I would read about the history of World War I. I would read things like psychological journals at the time and texts where where doctors were trying to figure out how to treat people that had basically become the first people to ever experience like PTSD or shell shock, and what they were doing. And yeah, that kind of just spawned this original idea of like, what if I could tell a story that was in conversation with what these people went through. And
Wow.
what ended up coming out was just something kind of weird and abstract.
Mm-hmm. Right. So do you find what you like also from other entertainment? So are there like comics that you like that kind of fill that interest that you have?
Well, I would say for Eudaimonia 3, a lot of it emerged from reading the work of my peers and wanting to work with them. So that's kind of why it's part of the reason why I kind of created this. Like I read, Roach Balls from Rich Ayala, and I wanted to tell a story with Rich, or I read Jupiter from Jason Sandberg, and I want to tell a story with him. And, people like Skunk and Jose Garcia, I wanted to work with him. So I needed to make a story, a little short story, so I could have an excuse to kind of work with them. And so, yeah, I found I've gotten better at that. I like kind of like reading my peers but like I said, it kind of goes back to that process of like writing a letter back to them, like by telling a story with them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. So you make short stories. So how do you like publish them somewhere? Do you combine them? What do you do with your short story?
So a lot of the stories that are in Eudaimonia 3 are actually short stories that I had published when I was in college, because all I wanted to do was get as many things published as I could. So I just got to writing, and it's kind of a long process, but there's so many journals and publications and periodicals out there, and I just tried to get published in as many of them as possible. And then so I had this kind of back catalog of like these stories, and I was able to kind of convert them into comic stories.
Mm-hmm. Right. Cosmonaut Comics Marinus, he says Jose is awesome. Yeah, he's really good. Really, really unique style. Right. Okay, so this is like the third book that we're presenting today. Is the third book in a trilogy.
Yep. Well, I mean, yeah, this is going to be the end of the series. I feel like after this, I'll basically have said all there is to say about the idea, like the motif and the theme of the book, which is, people looking for their eudaimonia.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let me pull that up. There we go. All right. Cool. Eudaimonia. What does it mean? What does the word mean?
It is from ancient Greek philosophy, and it basically means, at least in the context that I understood it, it means that in life which makes the inevitable challenges and trials that we have to endure worth enduring. So it's not a self-help book. It's not, it can mean different things to any individual person, but it is that in life that we're pursuing, whether or not we realize we're pursuing it.
Oh, wow. All right. A final chapter in the surreal series about forging meaning from tragedy. 53 backers right now, 14 hours left. All right, guys. So go back it. 14 hours left. By the way, if you back during the stream, let us know, right? So we can celebrate. And you have 3 books done right now, and these are these are stories that are connected through the theme, but not really. Yeah. So there are separate stories.
So the third one is basically an anthology. It's not connected to the first 2. It's basically like a long form goodbye to the series. Sure. The first 2 books are all connected stories. So it's the story of an American soldier who goes over to World War I, and he has a kind of insane time there in the war. And he has this encounter with the woman who plays the cello. And one of the main themes of the book is the idea that, do you know what the sublime is?
The sublime, yes.
Yeah. So the sublime is the idea that there can be a single moment that is both awe-inspiring, but also horrifying. And I've always been a big fan of music, and I've always found the cello to kind of capture that. Like if you listen to a cello, it's both beautiful, but also kind of haunting and creepy. And so he has this encounter with the woman who plays the cello. And then the rest of the first book is basically about his life after the war, and how that song kind of changed his life. And then the second book in the series is basically, it's the same exact story, but it's told from the perspective of the woman who plays the cello. And it ends up forming kind of an interlocking narrative with a third character, and wraps it up. And then this third book is just kind of an anthology exploring the ideas of Eudaimonia.
Right. Okay. Right. I really like how the cello always takes center stage in each piece. While the surroundings are completely different, right? Really nice, man. All right, shall we watch the trailer?
Sure.
Let me know if there's no sound, okay? All right.
I love that when I'm on a show and somebody's like, "Oh yeah, it's over," and then boom.
Okay, nice. You have a lot of very talented people you're working with. So you said you liked the style of or the storytelling, the visual storytelling of particular artists, and then you try to come up with a story that like fit with that, right?
Yeah, like fit with them. Like Rich Ayala's story is about a guy who gets stuck in traffic at the end of the world. There's an artist who primarily does manga, and so I told a story about a stripper in New Orleans and her chicken tenders. Rod, that's one of my favorite stories. It's actually one of the first stories I ever got published, called Broad Street Reflections. And Roy at the bottom there is a story based on a true story about a guy who wakes up on an airplane full of dead people.
Holy shit. Wow, this sounds like so are all these stories also like, would they fit a television series that also carry the same theme, like you have, what was the latest show with what's his name, this horror series?
Black Mirror?
No, the Cabinet of Curiosities. I think it was called. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like if the Twilight Zone was like deeply philosophical and weird.
Yes.
I mean, there are some Twilight Zone stories that I would call philosophical, but this is more like if it was all like that.
Tank Ferret says, "Gotta run back to Deadland. Like, share, and stay magnificent." All right, Tank. Thank you so much for dropping in, sir. Good luck in Deadland. Okay, and more. It says, right. Reaching stretch goals unlocks additional stories. Oh, that's interesting. So this means
However, wherever we're at the end of the campaign, right now the book is at about 50 pages, and looking to get it up to about 60. But yeah, we've unlocked 2 stories. One of them is, it actually is the first story I've ever had published. It's called The People Versus, and it's the story about 3 brothers at the sentencing hearing for their father's murderer. But the twist of the story is that one of the things I said isn't true.
Okay. So these are extra stories. So you already have like the book is basically you have your stories ready, set, and so you can add more stories by backing. So this means the book. So you don't know how many pages the book will be just yet, right?
No, and there's actually 1 or 2 more that have yet to be done, but I'm hoping to get this out. The nightmare scenario would be October, hopefully before October.
Okay. Right. But if you have all these stories, I reckon you are proud of these stories, you are happy with them, right? So what will happen with them if you don't unlock them? Will they still be made in some other form for some other book?
Maybe. I mean, they could be just stories that I keep in the back pocket and can maybe expand at another time.
Right.
One of them hasn't even been written yet. It's more like the rough idea of a story.
Okay. So how long does it take you to write a story?
I think it takes me longer to find the time to write a story than to write a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Right. Yeah, you have to make time for these. So words are my trade, stories my craft. Why entice you with mere images? Let me tell you a story, and then people can read this. Oh, look at this! It's really cool art.
Yeah, my idea was basically like it kind of says there. It's like I'm a writer, and so a bunch of preview images don't really. That's not really sharing what I do. So, and not only that, but there are often times where, like, I have people who pick up Eudaimonia and they love it, like they really truly love it, and then sometimes I have people who read it and they're just like, I don't get it, and those are both fine. But I want people to know going in what they're getting into. I don't want any surprises. So if you read this preview story and you don't get it, or it doesn't move you or mean anything to you, then this might not be for you. But if it does, this might be something worth picking up.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes people are often attracted to comic books because of certain conventions within comic books, right? So if you think outside of the box, you make something different, it might be more challenging for you to find a audience, right?
Right. But the trade-off is that, like, when after I put out Eudaimonia Book 2, I started working on a series that I made the book, I got it funded, I did all that, but it didn't satisfy me because it wasn't me. It was me trying to make something that might be a little bit easier to market, but as a creator, it just didn't feel satisfying because it didn't feel like it was something consistent with what I wanted to make.
Yeah, I completely get that. I get that. Love the colors here also.
Yeah, Emmy was the artist in the first 2 books, and after book 2, we had a bit of a falling out. But we've been able to kind of patch things up, and brought him back in for book 3, and we're working together again. And I'm incredibly grateful because he's not just a great artist; he's also a great collaborator, like somebody to work with.
Right. Oh, that's cool that you managed to patch things up. Yeah, the art is really nice. There's this pastel-like color
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple story about okay, it's not simple. It's a story that is being narrated by the summer, like a personification of the summer.
Right.
And the summer is talking to a guy about their relationship and how it changes over time. So when you're a kid, the summer is like this thing that you can't wait for. But then as you get older, it becomes less and less important. You know, you got to take the kids to the beach. You got to find a parking spot. You got to do this or that.
Yeah.
But in the end, the summer basically tells him that, you know, you need to get up and you need to make this last summer valuable because I won't be coming around. This is the last time I'm going to see you, basically. And so, yeah, sorry, spoilers, but I mean, the story is on there. But yeah, the summer is basically saying, like, you need to get up and make something of this summer because I won't be seeing you again.
Oh.
And so it's like, it's sad, right? It's sad, but at the same time, it's also like, if you go down, if you scroll down to the last page, it's like, that's what life is. The life is, sorry, I think there's more.
Oh, nice.
You know, that's what life is. Life is a series of moments that you can appreciate them or maybe not appreciate them, but they are finite and there is a future waiting for you regardless. And so it kind of ends with him like playing with his grandkids.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. People can read this. I don't think you can read it from the screen, but if you visit the campaign, guys, you can read it. You work a lot with caption boxes, right? Do people
narration
talk also?
Yeah, but just not in this story. This story is just one that happens to be fully narrated.
Right. Yeah. The art is nice. Nice. There's more. Really cool. Oh, here's the same guy. Old.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the summer tells him to stand up, old man, and play with whatever vigor those old bones will allow.
Wow. Nice. Crenshaw, welcome.
Yep.
Welcome, Crenshaw. Is this book previewed on Global Comics?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I think this story is on there, and also the entirety of book 1 is on there for free to read on.
Oh, that is nice. Winter is coming, says Mike. Yeah. Okay. So what else can you tell us about this campaign?
Yeah, you know, I tried to keep the price a little bit leaner. I think since the last time we talked, I started doing more local, like live events, and I've found them to be very satisfying. So what I wanted to do is just kind of up my printing volume so that way I can offer like a leaner price point on the campaign. Mm-hmm. So, you know, issue 3, it's going to be about 50 to 60 pages. You want to get it for 15, or you can get the entire bundle, which I think in total is about 160 pages, and it's $30.
$30, yeah. Awesome. Ships worldwide. Nice. All right. So for $15, you get book 3. You have a retail bundle for $50. Cool. The mega bundle, $90 for retailers. The skunk bundle, what's this?
This is a piece that was done by Skunk. It's not in the book anywhere. I might use it in the future for maybe like a trade. But Skunk Artworks is a fantastic artist, and he did this really nice piece, and it's out there. It's out there for the taking. There's also right below that, there's some Rich Ayala original art, but there's only one left.
Oh, there's one left. So you made 3 pieces. So how do people know what it looks like? You don't have it featured.
Well, yeah, that would be spoilers. But he actually he did a 4-page story, but I'm keeping one for myself. So it'll just be random.
Random. Okay. Then you have Eudaimonia original art bundle.
Yeah, I was doing 1 page at a time, and the cover from book 2 already sold, so I put this one up there. It's one of the more important pages from book 1 on page 21, but it's there if anybody wants it.
All right. All right. And this one is sold. Nice. Cover art bundle that's sold. Okay. Well, great. Interesting stuff. You have 13 hours left, guys. 13 hours left to back this campaign, this very extremely unique, original way of using the comic book format, using comics. So you also sell through, or people can follow you through Global Comics. Do you also visit conventions?
I'm kind of at a weird point with that because I think I might be a little bit too weird for Comic-Cons, or at least around here. I might do some more next year. But where I live, man, the cons are they're not where it's at.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's mostly toys, Funko Pops and Star Wars figurines. And there are people there that are set up with, long boxes, but they're just selling older issues. And there's almost nobody that's like me that's doing, independent comics. So it's a little rough. But yeah, I might look at maybe doing something next year, maybe do Heroes Con. But I do find that I do a little bit better at art events or literary events.
Oh, really? You visit those with your books?
Yeah. I set up, and I just find I do a little bit better there. And I think it might have something to do with the fact that because of where I live, a lot of the other independent authors there are just, I'm trying to find a nice way to put this, but it's a lot of religious texts or motivational speaker books. So my work kind of just stand out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. Wait, let me. You have your book Noirlem on Barnes and Noble. People can get it there. Let me see if I can bring that up.
Yeah, I tried to make something a little bit more normal with Noirlem. It's just like a detective murder mystery series, so it doesn't take me 10 minutes to tell people what it's about. And yeah, I started shopping it around to publishers and found one pretty quickly. And so yeah, we got the pre-order up for book 2 in Barnes and Noble. It's a 90-page murder mystery in Old New York.
Yeah, that sounds like when you write something like that, you have to do a lot of research, right?
Yeah. So, but I'm kind of a small details kind of a researcher. So
yeah.
Well, I would go to write a page, and I would find that I would need to look for really weird things like what a diner menu in the 1920s looked like, or near Wall Street, they had these places where it was weird. It was like a cafeteria, but it operated on the honor system where you could go there and get whatever. But then when you go to pay, you just tell them what you got, and you could be lying, but it was interesting. It was built on the honor system because it was like you could go in there and get a meal and get away with not paying for it, but when you're done, you're done. So if they catch you, it's like you're not welcome here anymore. So it incentivized people to just be honest.
Sure.
You know, it's kind of like a high trust society.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. So the link to this is also underneath the video. So if people find this interesting, they want to support you, they can go check it out. Okay. Cool. Well, is there something about the campaign that they forgot to mention? Besides, it has like 13 hours left right now.
Yeah. I don't think so. You know, I'm kind of resigned to take what I get and just be appreciative to the people who use their time and attention towards something I've made. So I would say, just kind of reiterate, you know, if you have a minute, go to the campaign page, read the preview story, and see if it's for you. And if it's not, that's great. You know, sorry I couldn't get you this time, but you know, I appreciate anybody who takes a moment out of their lives to read something that I created. So we can always part as friends.
Sure. Wait, let me share the screen.
We might not get to a full hour though, because I'm a man of few words.
Yeah, that's okay. We can still show the trailer before we go. Crenshaw says, I saw that recently in an Abbott and Costello movie. Oh, the thing you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, so the story for the second Noirlem is kind of inspired by, it was this famous photograph that was taken where a woman jumped off a building in New York and she landed on her back on a car, and she's dead, obviously, but she landed in a way where she looked like an angel. Like and so it's a famous photograph called The Beautiful, and then a word that starts with the letter S that might get your channel demonetized. But it's this really haunting image of a woman on a car that's dead, but looks like she's a sleeping angel. And so it's a famous photograph. And I wanted to kind of tell a story that's like, you know, kind of based on that, but really more just like, because no one knows a lot about her and why exactly she did that. So I kind of wanted to fill in the blanks and make a story that kind of culminated in that.
Right. Yeah. Right. We can show the one for people who missed it, so you can get a flavor of what it is, guys. Go check it out. Go share the link out of this campaign to other people. There are people out there who don't know about this campaign, and this might be for them, right? So let's check the trailer. Boom.
Gotcha again.
Yes. just looked up the photo. Definitely haunting and darkly beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of my comfort zone.
Right. All right. Well, sir, thank you for being my guest and for showing us your campaign.
Yeah.
Good luck with it.
Thank you. I appreciate you as always.
Yeah. You. This is your last day, or do you still have 30 days to go?
Well, I'm really bad at even like pretending to be not always telling the truth. It's gonna get extended for 30 days.
Oh, good. All right, good. So you still have time.
Or
right?
no, wait, hang on. This is as close as I get. Today's the last day.
Wink, wink. Right. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for being my guest, sir, and good luck with your campaign. And special thanks to the chat for everyone who showed up today to watch the show. Thank you so much, because without you, it's just us talking, which is cool. But if you like this conversation, give the stream a like. If you didn't like the conversation, give it a dislike, and I'm very sorry about that. I will be back next week, so same channels, same time, new guest. Hope to see you guys then. All right. Bye, guys.